To give a warning at the beginning of the video, somebody has identified me as a poof. I received a communication saying, "You're a poof." So I thought I would take a moment to do a video explaining that I am or am not a poof. Try to home in on that, as well as cover over several other things that I talk about a lot, because they need to be talked about, I think. First of all, President Obama, did you know he may well be the greatest president the United States of America has ever had? There's been one problem with President Obama, though, and it's a big one. And it's this. He tries to please everybody. He doesn't understand that there are some people who are so stupid and ignorant that they can't be pleased because they don't know what they're doing. Voila. That's like the candidates running for the nomination of the President of the United States of America. One, blatantly racist. You can figure out who these are. Because if you know the words, and you have your trained counselor to pick up on the words of a racist, you know, the Ku Klux Klan type, one of those candidates is blatantly preaching to the right-wing fanatical racist element. The other one openly says, I don't care about the poor people because they have a safety net. By the way, he didn't mention that he's planning on cutting that safety net as soon as he gets in office. And then we have another one who's as Catholic as they can be, and the evangelicals love him. Well, there's something wrong right there. And, of course, the one candidate that could win, the one candidate that I might vote for if it weren't for his choice of friends, Ron Paul, I agree with what he says. You know, I may be a libertarian. I agree with everything he says. Ron Paul seems to care about people, and he cares about things like the Constitution and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And there would be no issue of who I would vote for between Ron Paul and President Obama, except for this latest thing with President Obama. Now, maybe with his Harvard education, he lacks an understanding of religion. The Catholic Church is 2,000 years old. And the Catholic Church perceives abortion as murder. It's very simple. Abortion is murder. Murder is against the commandment. It is also a mortal sin that the Church has taught as a mortal sin for 2,000 years. So the Catholic Church, particularly the bishops who are entrusted with running the Catholic Church, are not going to bend on that issue. You know, I have to wonder how he can feel that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, how he can figure that the right to practice religion in your own way can exist if he says you have to commit a mortal sin. Then somebody said, well, the Catholics have confession. They can go to confession and take care of this. That's bullflage, because at the end of the confessional, when you walk out the door, as you're leaving, the priest says, go forth and sin no more. And if you're going to have an abortion, the minute you walk out the door, you're sinning again, and the confession wouldn't have any meaning whatsoever. A waste of the priest's time, a waste of your time. We also have a situation today that amazes me. Suddenly there's a lot of interest in freedom of religion because Obama has pushed us to the wall. Yeah, he said, okay, you're going to have to commit a mortal sin. I said, no, I'm not going to do that, even though I don't practice the Catholic Church anymore. You know, he's going to lose something more than the election if he continues pushing this thing. But our nation guarantees us the right to practice our religion, and if his religion means slamming the other religions, I guess under the Constitution of the United States, he can damn well say, you Catholics go out and commit mortal sins, the Pope says you go to hell, I say you're perfectly okay. I also say you're perfectly okay if you go over and kill a bunch of people in Afghanistan so we can get the oil. Well, the reality today is you've got to make a choice. And that choice is between choosing God or choosing this nation. Now, maybe it's subtle. Maybe it's happening a little bit at the time. But we have churches right now today that blatantly are interfered with by the state. I cite the Metropolitan Church, which is a gay church. It's chartered as a church, and they have churches all over the United States. There's one here in Portland. I looked it up on the internet. Yet that church can't marry, even though courts say they can, states say they can, but then the evangelicals who want freedom of religion only if it's their twisted idea of religion. A twisted idea that says it's okay to go to war and kill people so we can get their oil. It's okay if we trash the poor. That's all right. If we break every commandment, it's all right if the nation says we can do it. And then we consider putting an out-and-out racist in as the President of the United States. You see that sign up on the wall? It's a quote from God. It says, "Thou shalt not kill." God. Do you know what sign used to be up there until it was stolen? As everything in my life is being stolen in these final years. It was a sign that said, "Forever." And I'm looking to find a replacement sign. I'm not an artist, or I'd make it myself. But they're very important sayings to me. Forever, that's what the soul is. To follow Obama's dictate that we kill unborn children is something I will never do. But I'm not forcing it on anyone else because we have free will. The country is about free will. At least it's supposed to be with things like that, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Things are a very serious mess right now. And 2012, some say the world will end. God tells us that no one knows the hour that the world will end. But if there was ever a time for the Creator, that God of love above, to rattle the keys and say, "I think it's time to shut this place down," this is a pretty good year, if you'll excuse me.